Hi, Brett Packee here, PGA Professional, CoreGolf.com. I want to talk a little bit about loft of your putter and being fit correctly here, and I have a high-speed video to show the effects of too much or too little or just the right amount of loft at your impact position. So I've drawn some straight lines right here. In this particular situation, my hands are back just a little bit. I've added about 1.5 degrees of loft at my address position. That's kind of where I set my hands. My putters are set with about 1.5 degrees of loft. And you'll see what happens now if you add too much loft at your impact position. So there we've got a little bit reverse shaft lean right there, about maybe 3 degrees is what I figured. The fact that this putter has 1.5 degrees of loft, I'm hitting this probably with about 4.5 degrees of loft, and you can see what the ball does here. Jumping straight up in the air, getting airborne, and that's actually going to bounce back up in the air. And again, not staying on the ground is not a good thing. We want to get this ball rolling as soon as possible, end over end. So with too much loft, that ball is going to lift up in the air and bounce too much. Now, if you have too little loft, again, I'll draw my straight lines here, 90 degrees there. And you'll see here that something interesting kind of happens here. So maybe my hands are set maybe 1 degree forward here, 1 or 2 in that range. And then at impact, maybe you like to forward press in your particular setup. Here's our impact position, right about there. So at my impact position, I've de-lofted the club about 6 degrees. Now, considering I started with about 1.5, I've got a negative 4 to 5 degree impact position here. So as this ball takes off, it's going to look like it appears to stay on the ground, but look at how quickly that curve, that line on the ball, is off its axis. Certainly I hit this into the ground a little bit, and it just reacted to the surface, and in this case it just got going with right to left spin on it. And you can see how crooked that line is right now. We'd like to see it vertical, kind of like this at this point. So it's off its axis for sure. So negative loft, too little loft, can really have some bad effects in your putting. Now, proper loft here, again, I'll draw my lines, just get some straight lines going. And when you hit your putts with the proper loft, and we'll get to our impact position there. So you can see my impact position with the shaft looks almost identical to my address. So I've hit this putt with approximately 1.5 degrees of loft, maybe 2, which is fine, it's in the range. And watch how nicely this ball rolls. So it stays on the ground, it kind of skids forward for a few inches, which is what we want, and then it starts rolling end over end, and then ironically when it gets to the end of this video frame here, you can see how the stripe is actually matched up identical to its starting point. So look at that stripe right there. So this putt was hit with the proper loft. Now, keep in mind, you can either work on your stroke mechanics to make a stock putter fit you, or you can have your putter adjusted to fit you. Work with your PGA professional to get it dialed in right. Visit CoreGolf.com for more information, or to view my blog that I wrote about the loft and lie of putters. Thanks for listening.